Now, not content with climbing the highest mountain in the world, explorer Vanessa O'Brien has now gone one adventure further. She's now the first woman to have reached both the highest and the lowest points on the planet after she dived the Mariana Trench, almost 11,000 metres below sea level. Well, she joins us now, I'm pleased to say, on Breakfast. Vanessa, good morning to you. The Mariana Trench, 11,000 metres down. Presumably when we say you dived it, you were in a submersible, right? Rather than just in your Speedos.
Absolutely. So I decided to bring you a nice mountain backdrop just to cool you off after that weather report.
Yeah, and look, the obvious question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking is why? I mean, the highest point, yes, we can answer, it's a challenge because it's there, but was it a natural progression to go to the lowest point on the planet after that?
Well, you know, I saw the trenches actually are formed the same way that mountains are formed. It's plate tectonics. So when the oceanic plates fall under the continental plates, they move mountains up on top of the earth, and underneath they form the trenches. So underneath the water, it's almost the inverse of mountains. They're just explored less because you can't breathe underwater naturally. So when this opportunity came up, I thought this will be phenomenal to see some of these things. Because underneath the Earth's surface, there's actually things called seamounts, and they're underwater mountains. So it's a bit extreme to go 11,000 meters deep. And actually, today, there's only one vehicle that can do that. But it really was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see what is down there. And it really was incredible. It felt like being a visitor to a foreign place.
Of course, it must have done. And just explain, we've just been seeing some pictures, as you've been talking there, of the seabed down there. But just take us down there, if you would. Explain to us what you're seeing, what you're looking at, what the landscape is like down there. It's difficult to get an idea from the narrow image that we were looking at there.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, 11,000 meters, it takes about 4 hours to get down. So it's not a quick, jump in and quickly hit the accelerator and you're there. 4 hours is what it takes once the ballast are equalized. You go down pretty slowly. Once you're on the bottom, this was a scientific mission in that we were surveying the bottom, taking one transect to try to determine whether the bottom was flat or like a billiard table, or whether it had protrusions. So we were using sonar to, do the survey work. But while we're using photography and other ways to try to determine what exactly is on the bottom, it becomes very clear that when you're looking at that sand, which when you first see it looks like sand, is really sediment. So it would be part of the volcanic ash when these tectonic plates collide, the oceanic and the continental plates. But when you look very, very closely, you see things moving in that sand. So you know there are underwater creatures. These creatures are part of the Hadal zone, Hadal, and they're very, very curious because it's 100% dark down there. So the creatures that live there under 8 tons of pressure, there's a lot that we need to know about them. For example, they won't need eyes because they don't need to see. Do they have, vertebrae or any sort of what's the structure of the organisms that live down there? So there's a whole interesting study around the types of creatures that live there, and we were able to catch one on a lander camera that looks very, very interesting. It's called a polychaete, but it's a type of bristleworm.
Yeah. OK, well, you've scaled the heights and you've plumbed the depths, as it were. You will be an inspiration to a great many people watching this, perhaps women and girls in particular. What would you say to anybody who thinks, you know what, I would just love to do that, but A, I don't have it in me, and B, I don't know where to start?
I think you start with just curiosity. For me, I had spent so much time in mountains. I knew really very little about the oceans or oceanography. When I was tapped for this, it was more about my willingness to learn. So if I could leave anyone with that message, it's not what you know, it's what you're willing to learn. So as long as you have an interest in it, that's all that matters. All these other things that come about, the bathymetry, whether you can operate a robotic arm, all these things you can learn and be trained. It's just whether you have an interest in it and a willingness to learn that matters.
Great stuff. All right, Vanessa.
That's the most important thing.
Good on you, Vanessa. A remarkable achievement. Many thanks indeed for being with us this morning. And that's it from us here on Breakfast Today. The news channel will continue to provide